Research conducted by Lenoir et al. In 2007 concluded that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. Yet, if we go in a supermarket, you can find it everywhere. You can find it in your drinks, your biscuits, your burgers, chocolates, everything else. And it's safe to say that something that acts like cocaine isn't having the best effects on our health. And we're going to talk about this today. My name is Jayatra Saxena, and I'm from the Department of Mathematics. Today we're going to talk about 2 ways sugar negatively affects our mental health. Now, over the past 100 years or so, our sugar consumption has skyrocketed. Our research shows that 40% of what children in the US eat is empty calories taken from added sugar. Now, this is having a detrimental effect on our bodies, and we're having diseases like diabetes and more. It's also having a deadly effect on our mental health. And we're going to talk about 2 of these effects specifically today. We're going to talk about the connection between sugar and depression, and we're going to talk about the connection between sugar and our brain performance and memory. So, depression right now is one of the most serious problems the world is facing. We have a lot of young adults, teenagers who are getting depressed because of social media and various other factors. And because of this, many people are also becoming clinically depressed. They're taking harmful medication, and some people are also attempting to commit suicide. It's horrible. And scientists wanted to see the connection between this and sugar intake. And they did exactly that. Zhang et al. In 2019, in the research sanctioned by the Chinese government, studied this relation. And this, if you take a look at this figure, this is extracted from that research. So on the x-axis here, we have the frequency of sugary soft drinks consumed by adolescents in college, and per week. And on the y-axis, we have the depression score, which is determined by the research team using a questionnaire. Now, you can see a clear correlation that as the frequency of sugary soft drinks intake increases, the depression score also increases. So there's a clear correlation, also more or less causation, between the increase in sugary soft drink intake and depression. And this is dangerous because even if this risk towards depression is low, the amount of sugar consumed by the world and its addictive properties make that low risk a huge problem, because a lot of people are going to be affected by it. And but when we're talking about the effects of mental health, effects of sugar on our mental health, depression is just the tip of the iceberg, because sugar can have much deeper effects on our mental health. Sugar, like any other food, does not only affect our gut, it also affects our brain because of the release of neurochemicals. But the way sugar does this is specifically interesting. If only you can take a look at this figure, this image taken from McKay's article on Mike.com, an online news website. You can see that on the left-hand side we have a PET scan of a sugar addict. On the right-hand side we have a PET scan for a cocaine addict. And these PET scans are telling us about, are comparing the dopamine receptors of the two. You can see that they're acting in a similar way. Now, why is this of concern? It's of concern because dopamine is the chemical that regulates how good we feel at certain points, and it also regulates the communications between different organs, which is essential. They tell each other what substance or hormones or processes they need to start or stop at any given time. So it's plausible that sugar is affecting our cognitive abilities, and this was conferred by the research done by Shong et al., published in the Dove Press Medical Journal. And they took a huge pool of Malaysian older adults, but of different ethnicities, and they found out that there's a clear, they found out the obvious, the expected, that there's a clear correlation between high sugar intake and lower cognitive performance. That is, that means that we're not just becoming more depressed because of sugar, probably, or we're getting towards the risk of depression because of sugar. We're also limiting our capabilities from the aspect of performance and memory. So again, when you consider the scale of sugar usage, this becomes a huge problem. This brings us to the end of our presentation. We've talked about how sugar is highly addictive. It's used excessively, and it's used by 40% of children. And we've talked about the negative effects of it, how sugar can lead to depression, and how it can limit our brain functionality and memory and other cognitive abilities. But yet we continue to use it. So we need to act on this now. We need to start regulating the amount of sugar we consume at home. We need to ask our governments and our lawmakers to start regulating the sugar use in the industry. Because if we don't act now, the effects of this are going to be horrifying. Trust me, I'm not sugarcoating this for you. Thank you. This is the end of my presentation. If there are any questions, you can ask them now or comment them below, because this is a YouTube video. And here's my reference list. Thanks for joining.